All right, so in this video, I'm about to do a haircut tutorial, and this guy right here, he really just came in. He was like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get a nice haircut and got hot, and I want to do something different. Chop me down." So on this video, we're gonna do a 3 against the grain on some straight hair with a nice taper. Tune in as I walk you through the steps. Yes, sir. Let's get it. So I'm going with the 3 against the grain on the classic 76er clipper. I chose this way because this is the strongest motor, and he would just like, I want to cut it all the way down. I was trying to make sure I could talk him out and give him every option because he had the most options with this amount of hair. I was trying to make sure he didn't want me just to taper it or do a light fade, a drop fade. It's endless possibilities with this amount of hair, but this is what he wanted, so I just went ahead and moved forward with it. I know that his hair was going to be kind of weak in certain places because it's been so used to being long. So retraining the whole hair and to strengthen it from the bottom up. So that's why I went with this number 3 and not a 1. Not to scalp him, to leave a little hair where you can still see the fade on the side. So I'm just making sure that everything is even. You can see that there's still a few long hairs on the top, and that's my main thing. I cut almost every head twice just to make sure I'm just gonna keep on going over it, just to make sure it's all the way even, so I have a even and uniform starting length before I do anything, before I edge, before I taper down, before I do anything else. So I show the mirror to all my clients just to make sure it's the right length, because I can always go lower, but I can't never go higher. All I can do is sweep the hair up and keep it moving. So I'm always trying to make sure that that's known. You know, this your time to speak up if you want it to be higher on your taper. I just keep on showing the mirror over and over. I want them to be able to make sure that they're for sure getting the service that they want, not the one that I want to give them. So I'm edging up the back of the hairline right now, and I'm just trying to make sure that my clipper is the GTX, that is doing all the work and not me, that I'm not pressing too hard, because these edges are kind of sharp. And right up in that little area right there, you really know to cut people and nick them really bad around the ear. So that's why I wanted to take my time, apply as little pressure as possible, and then make sure that line is hitting but it's still on the natural. So wherever I do the one side, I got to do the other side. So I'm just making sure that, you know, everything is still even, because it looks like I'm seeing spaces and things that's dark, but I'm expecting that because his hair has been long for so many years, and he probably had braids and had his hair parted. It's just, you know, this was one of those ones where you had to know what you was looking at. So it's time to begin the edge up on the front, and I'm just gonna do a soft touch on the natural lining, but I'm gonna make it as crisp as possible with the clippers before I go back over it with the razor. The razor, all I'm gonna be trying to do on this one is just get all those little fine hairs and keep keep that edge up really, really crisp and really natural. So when I first start lining it right now, you're gonna see that I'm gonna keep it kind of like an old school traditional, and you're gonna see that I'm still gonna keep the sideburns kind of wide, like as if it was an old school haircut. And that way I can make sure I'm keeping it as natural as possible. And he didn't want sideburns, so I'm gonna come back in. I'm eventually taper him out. So first thing I'm doing is using a wall shaver to make sure that everything is bald, and I'm gonna follow up with the fast feeds closed. And eventually I'm gonna come back with the wall balders because I just wanted to make sure that it actually is bald at the very bottom of the taper. So I'm just tapping at the bottom of the fade line on the taper until I get it blurry, and just right there at the top of the C notes and that bend right there in that C note, that's why I wanted to get blurry right up into that point where it's just smooth and a clean fade, a smooth transition. That's the goal. So it's one of my favorite parts of the whole haircut. Any opportunity I get a chance to use the razor, I'm gonna use the razor. That's just I love that. That's my favorite tool in my whole arsenal. I mean, I'll trade all my clippers for a personal long razor. This is real barbering right here. You get what I'm saying? Like, so what I'm doing is pulling the skin tight. I'm going against the grain. I'm making sure I like get all the fine hairs. That's really what I'm trying to get off there. So it makes the original line that much bolder and makes it stand out that much more. But the razor is really where you get your money's worth because it's gonna make your line last that much longer. So I'm just balding out everything on the left side of the head. Just go ahead and do everything I did on the right side on the left side. So y'all already know everything I said I was gonna do over there, I gotta do over here. And I'm go ahead and I'm gonna measure right up to the same points. Make sure that everything is symmetrical. That's my main thing. That's why I keep on spinning the chairs. I'm working my mirror to make sure that all the lines on the head is symmetrical. Not just the top lining. The C notes are equal length and width apart from the eyebrows. All that. I'm doing all kinds of measurements. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop one of my biggest secrets on this video about my whole barbering career. The less is better. And I tell myself the less hair I cut, the better it's gonna look. So that gives me room to work with everything. Like even when I do parts, when I do the razor lining, I'm trying to take as less hair as possible because I know that the more hair I keep on there, the more sharper the line is gonna be, the more smoother the fade is gonna be, the more my razor line is gonna pop if I don't bag them up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this right side right, just clean it up a little bit. And like I said, just we want that razor lining to pop, but we don't want to bag them up. So it's time to do the finishing touches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and taper out the back, not carrying it too high. But I make sure that it's very low and that nape area is very clean and bald at the very bottom. Like I said, I'm blending it up to a 3. So you see I'm using my fast feeds. And I said I'm just going medium high, not too high on that back. Last minute cleanup, just hitting it with the shaver. Just trying to make sure that everything is right where I want it to be at, and coming back cleaning it up with the GTX, with the Slimline Pros right there. And I'm just going to bump that line in just a little bit more across the top, just because I felt like it could be just a little bit more crisp. And so that's what I'm just doing, just trying to make sure that everything is how I pictured it being. The customer was more than happy when I showed him the mirror. If you could watch the whole video, man, we was just having good conversation, and he was just enjoying the whole experience of getting a nice haircut and the transformation. That's what it's all about. So it's time to show him the mirror. Boom. Y'all see it right there. There it is.